Today, we're kicking off week 2 of our special weekly bug series, which is brought to you by app.namethatbug.com. Throughout this series, we're using real-world scenarios to show you exactly how to take back control of your backyard. And today we are putting a notoriously aggressive backyard villain straight under the microscope, and we're going to show you exactly how to conquer it.
Let me ask you something. Are you completely tired of getting eaten alive in your own backyard, right in the absolute middle of the day? I mean, most of us think of mosquitoes as just a dusk and dawn kind of problem, right? But if you're getting swarmed while you're just trying to enjoy a sunny afternoon barbecue, yeah, you are likely dealing with a very specific and extremely aggressive invader.
Meet the Asian tiger mosquito, scientifically known as Aedes albopictus. If you check out the threat assessment meter, it literally ranks as a high danger. And it's set to high not just because the bites are awful, but because of its incredibly rapid reproduction and massive infestation risk. This bug is originally from Southeast Asia, but it's now super common across temperate and tropical regions. It definitely warrants some urgent remediation.
Now, to tackle a high-threat pest like this one, we absolutely need a proven system. So we're going to use the core framework straight from the NameDatBug app, which we're demoing for you throughout this whole series. The framework itself is incredibly simple, but man, is it powerful. Step 1, scan. Step 2, educate. And Step 3, eliminate. It's a complete workflow that takes you from, just staring at a blurry photo of a bug on your patio, all the way to executing a professional-grade treatment protocol. Let's look at those first 2 steps and see how this all builds together.
Section 1. Scan and educate. Understanding the threat.
Right, so when you snap a photo in the app, you get this amazing deep dive right into the pest biology. Let's take a look at the specific diagnostic features the AI is hunting for. The Asian tiger mosquito is pretty small, only about 2 to 10 millimeters long, but it wears a very distinct uniform. Just look at that striking black body with the white stripes on its legs. But the absolute dead giveaway, it's that single, silvery white stripe running right down the center of its back. It's like a racing stripe. Once you know to look for it, you will literally never mistake this for a standard mosquito again. So, the really crucial thing to understand here is just how fast these populations can explode. This flowchart shows their holometabolous life cycle. That just means they go through a complete metamorphosis, from egg to larva to pupa and finally to a winged adult. And here is the truly terrifying part. Temperature is the main driver of this cycle. In warmer weather, this entire process from a tiny egg to a biting adult can happen in as little as 1 week. 1 week. Notice that aquatic larva stage up in the top right? It's often called a wriggler. It literally hangs from the water's surface so it can breathe through a tiny snorkel-like air tube. Targeting this highly vulnerable aquatic wriggler stage before they actually grow wings, that is absolutely the most effective way to wipe them out.
But you might be wondering, why does this specific mosquito matter so much? Well, because the stakes are incredibly high. The Educate feature of the app highlights some severe health risks. This mosquito is a highly competent biological vector. It's actually the primary vector for chikungunya, dengue, and Zika viruses. Oh, and it also transmits heartworm to our dogs and cats. On top of all that, the proteins in their saliva can trigger localized allergic responses. For hypersensitive people, this can escalate into something called Skeeter syndrome, causing severe inflammation and blistering. So yeah, this isn't just a nuisance, it is a serious health hazard.
Moving right along to Section 2, the DIY elimination plan.
Okay, so now that we're properly educated on the threat, the app generates a highly tailored elimination checklist. The very first line of defense, and honestly the foundation of any integrated pest management strategy, is cultural control. You absolutely must conduct a weekly survey of your property to find and eliminate all sources of standing water. Keep in mind, this mosquito is a container-breeding species. They do not need a giant swamp. They just need a discarded tire, a clogged gutter, a flower pot, or even a forgotten children's toy holding a tiny little splash of rainwater. Find them and empty them out.
But what do you do about the water you can't just drain, right? Like maybe an ornamental pond or a rain barrel. Well, that's exactly where the app's biocontrol recommendation comes in. You want to use BTI dunks or granules. BTI is a naturally occurring bacteria that specifically targets and kills mosquito larvae, those little wrigglers we saw earlier. But the best part is it's completely safe for birds, fish, and other wildlife. It's just a remarkably smart and targeted intervention.
Now, for personal protection, the DIY plan lays out some strict chemical protocols. You really need to use an EPA-registered insect repellent containing active ingredients like DEET, picaridin, IR3535,
or oil of lemon eucalyptus on your exposed skin. Please don't rely on myths or random home remedies when you're dealing with a disease vector this aggressive. Stick to the EPA-registered data that the app provides.
Finally, to truly take your yard back, the plan recommends a residual insecticide barrier treatment using a pump sprayer. But the strategy here is key. You don't just spray randomly into the air. Instead, you focus directly on mosquito resting areas, those cool, damp, shady spots where they hide out during the heat of the day. You're going to want to spray the undersides of leaves, deep inside dense shrubbery, and right under your decks. Section 3. Real expert backup and social proof.
So how do we actually know this specific DIY plan is trustworthy? I mean, generic bug apps usually stop at just naming the species. They basically just give you a decent guess. But NameDatBug actually cross-references every single identification against the US EPA's official pesticide registration database. Plus, the treatments are ranked using integrated pest management principles, which means you're always using the least invasive but most effective methods first. And this is the real game changer. If the AI is ever uncertain, your case can be escalated directly to a real human, board-certified entomologist for verification. You literally have credentialed experts backing you up.
And having that expert backing, it completely transforms the entire user experience. Just look at this review from Paige Gregory. She says, "Oh my God, ew, bugs. But now I know what kind I'm looking at. This app has been amazing, giving me tips and tricks on how to deal with little pests or being able to email an expert at the tips of my fingers." See, it takes that initial gross ick factor and turns it into a genuinely empowering, educational experience.
Here's another fantastic piece of social proof from a user named KT. She notes that the app tells you whether the bug is actually something to be concerned about and includes lots of interesting facts. She calls it educational, useful, and surprisingly addictive. And honestly, that is exactly the goal. It's all about learning how to safely interact with your environment, knowing what's a real threat, like the Asian tiger mosquito, and what's just a harmless little garden visitor. Which brings us to Section 4, Take Back Your Yard.
All right, so we've scanned the threat, we've educated ourselves on its life cycle and the dangers it poses, and we've built a professional-grade elimination plan. And you want to know the absolute best part? To celebrate the launch, you can head over to app.namedatbug.com right now for an incredibly low early bird founder rate. Normally, this is $2.99 a month, but if you subscribe today, you lock in a rate of just 99 cents a month for life, less than $1. That unlocks the bug scanner, the bug decks, those EPA-backed DIY plans, and the expert entomologist escalation.
You seriously don't have to surrender your patio to aggressive daytime biters anymore. The tools and the knowledge are right there at your fingertips. So, as we wrap up week 2 of this series, I want to leave you with this final thought. Armed with the ultimate pest control companion right in your pocket, what bug will you conquer next? Go to app.namethatbug.com, download NameDatBug, and let's find out together. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.